Hey, what's up guys? So I'm doing a video here to show you how to build a temp monitor screen. Now you can find some videos on YouTube that will do this similar video build, but I wanted to go into detail of what I did. So what I've learned is if you have a custom PC, it's always good to have one of these temp monitors, especially if you got a high-end graphics card, motherboard, or any other types of equipment inside your PC. If you're going to spend the money for that stuff, you might as well put a temp monitor in as well. You can go with a little 5.5 is what I got, or you can go with a 7, or you can even do a 10 if you really want to, or you could just take one of your monitors that you don't use anymore and you can turn that into a temp screen as well too. Um, but we'll go into detail about what you'll need and how to perform this upgrade or modification. Now you are going to need a screen, and depending on where you go, if you go to Amazon, eBay, or Newegg, or anything along those lines, you're gonna get this Electron screen. Depending on what distributors distributing the screen, they all do the same thing. You also need some tools. I ended up using a Dremel grinder. Make sure you get a right-hand USB. I used a super glue gun, some basic tools, except for the electronic screwdriver that I currently have. Um, I also drew out a diagram of what I was going to use to mount the screen into the case. Used an iFixit kit. Very, very nice to have if you don't have one. Now I also used this USB header extension slash splitter because I'm using most of my USB headers on my current computer build as we speak. Now the screen, you definitely want to keep those capacitors and stuff away from the metal because you could potentially fry it. So whatever you can do to keep that away is perfect. As you can see, I used some cable tape or electrical tape to cover those areas, and it works perfectly. This is kind of a mock-up build just to kind of give you an idea of what it will look like when it's fully displayed in the case. Wires could use a bit of cleaning up. I understand that, but let's get forward to the software side of things. Now, what you're going to want to use is ADAS64 Extreme. It is a $60 software. Um, Perfect for doing this type of build. You're altogether, this build is going to run you about 300 bucks and probably a couple hours of time. I'm showing the master build, but also how to get to the sensor panel as well too. Once you're in the sensor panel, you can basically modify any piece of the temp sensor. Now, you can also change your different images as well too, as you can see what I'm trying to display from here. I was trying different tribal designs, anything I could get my hands on to kind of change the background of it until I found this one. Um, it's a completely free image. You can find a bunch of these on free image sites. As long as they're not copyrighted, then you're good. Or you can pay for them, which is what I ended up doing anyways. Um, I know I just said that I got this from a free site, but I actually ended up paying like $5 or $6 for it. Um, but anyways, I'm going through the software and I'm resetting the bars, changing the color types because they come to like a pre-stock of white and kind of like indigo blue. If you're into those colors, cool. If not, that's cool too. You can change them pretty much any color that you want, which is perfect. Another thing that I also ended up learning is you can actually duplicate those bars. You'll see it a little bit later in the video, but it saves you from having to create every single one individually, which can take a bit of time and use up a little bit more time than you plan. Now, what I'm actually doing right now is I'm trying to modify the circular temps, and it's the bars are showing the percentage, but I want the specific temps of what my equipment's running at. So the top circle is the processor, and the bottom circle is the graphics card. So that way you can see what my current temps are running at when I'm running the PC. I believe this is at idle when I'm actually running a high-end game like Call of Duty or etc. Then those temps can get hot. Um, but anyways, So as we're going through the software and we're setting up the bars, I'm actually just trying to get everything to work perfectly and display properly. Um, as I'm modifying through, I'm just trying to get the proper names set up so they're all displaying the same bar, but with minor tweaks, you can actually change like the names. You can change if it's running monitoring the megahertz or the percentage of what is currently running from the system. You can even monitor your VRAM and see how much VRAM it's actually using. Um, you can also monitor how much how much clock speed you're currently running at. You can also monitor your hard drives. We'll get into that a little bit later as well too. So as I'm going through the software, I'm setting it up to my personal preference. And basically, when you have one of these monitors, you're not buying a kit and having it all set up for you. You're building it directly from scratch. So if you're one of those people that want to do a DIY system, this is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It makes your PC look a lot more. Um, it gives it more character, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. Now, building this, it does, like I said, it does take some time, but it's a lot of fun. You can show it off. If you're a streamer, perfect. You can show it off, and people will be so amazed about the PC modification that you did. You'll probably actually have people ask you, "Well, hey, how'd you put this monitor? And hey, how'd you modify it to work with your PC components?" Um, and it just kind of gives you something to start a conversation with. I've gotten quite a few conversations about putting little tiny monitors in and just showing off the temps and showing off the clock speeds, and people have actually asked me if I wanted to help them build one. Um, and it just kind of sparks from there. But anyway, so we're going through the software some more. I'm trying to add some more sensors in, and just trying to display more stuff off and see what I can actually do with the software. But as we're going through, you can kind of see what I'm doing with it, and yeah. Oh, also another thing that I just realized too. When you buy the software, you will have a pre-temp screen already built up with multiple different sensors. Um, you can actually create a new one from scratch. When it does this, it will allow you to preset your monitor to whatever pixel size you have it set to. So where mine's 800 by 480, I had to actually manually go in and preset that in. Um, Now you can change the basic color from blue to black to any type of color you really want. Um, and as I said before, I'm currently working on the hard drives right now. To kind of give you a justification of how it boots up, is it pretty much whatever drive you have selected in your slot, you can select your M.2s, your HDD. Currently I have 3 M.2s and 1 HDD currently set into my computer, and I'm just trying to get it displayed so I can see what the current temperature is at when I'm using this drive. At idle, I'm getting 34 degrees Celsius on my 970 Evo Plus, which is one of my gaming drives. My 980 Pro is my boot drive slash OS drive, so that one usually takes the most beating. Um, but pretty much from here, I'm trying to find a way to properly show this drive off, or try to show the drive or show the bar off, but I keep running into complications, and I'm constantly modifying, constantly recreating, and just trying to get it to display properly. What I've learned with this software is it's a constant, you have to constantly modify and constantly apply to get any result to show up. Um, And as you can see, I'm constantly clicking OK. I'm constantly trying to go back to modify, because it's not going to let you do what you want, essentially, until you have it properly set up like I just did that right there. Now the cool thing is, when you duplicate these, you can change the sensor um, to show specific drives that you wanted to show. Alright, so now let's go to the master build completely, so that way you can see what it would look like once you have the full project done, or you're satisfied with what you have. Now you can add titles in, which was a new thing to me. I actually put the Asus ROG Maximus 13 Hero board, which is what I currently use, and I have that on display, so I know exactly what it is. I also went back to some of the titles and I kind of touched it up a bit, so you can actually see which processor I'm currently running. And then this is also a live build, or a live view of what it currently looks like in my computer case right now.